Hey, Sima.
Hey.
We're finally filming our first Wednesday weekly episode for the Beauty Institute. It's a permanent makeup podcast. We've been meaning to start it.
Yeah, it's taken a long time.
It has taken a long time, but I'm really excited we're starting it. And we have so many topics that, we can cover and help our students with, tips and tricks about different Wednesday weekly topics, which we already did some of the research and some of the putting together about this specific topic last week. So we just kind of wanted to get into it today. And I'm really
Yeah.
excited to be doing it with you because you're like the easiest person to talk to when you're
I hope so.
yeah, you guys, Seema's my sister, and she has been helping me with every single project we've ever done since I basically was 16. So she answers a lot of the emails, and she's just like a huge part of the Beauty Institute. So I'm so happy to be like she's my co-host for this. So I'm really happy to be on a project with you.
Yay. Yeah, this is like the first time I think that I presented myself in the company. So this is my debut.
Yeah, and I feel like you have a great voice, so this is perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Um God, I don't like talking about myself, but but let's see. I'm a 23-year-old female who
You sound like you're making a Tinder account.
um, I have a passion for film and photography and all that fun stuff. I pretty much do all the back end work um, for the Beauty Institute. But yeah, I don't know. Enough about me. I don't really know.
you're 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 an anime fan. You're
Yeah, I like
you're
anime.
you're a gamer. I would say you're a gamer.
Yeah, I like music. I don't know. I think I'm well rounded and generally skilled.
I completely agree with that statement. All right. So this Wednesday weekly topic, we decided it's going to be about red flags to look out for when choosing a permanent makeup trainer and green flags too. So choosing a permanent makeup trainer is like pretty hard. Then there's so many. There's literally
Yeah.
thousands that are
Yeah.
ready to train students and it's a process. It's not easy.
No, it's not easy. And a lot of people think that it's easy when it's really not and end up maybe doing more harm than good.
Yeah, I just feel like some students like they have this vision of I'm going to go learn this in 3 days and it doesn't matter how many subjects I'm learning in 3 days and they have this fantasy of like I can do this, it's all going to be fine and the trainer promises the same sort of fantasy and then it's like a huge disappointment when you're done because you're like holy crap, this stuff is actually hard. Like I think a lot of people compare permanent makeup and tattooing to I don't know, like doing like your nails or like
Like,
getting your hair done.
yeah. Yeah. Or even just showing up to like one of those painting with a twist classes and oh, I just think I'm going to be a great artist after that. But it takes a lot of time and practice and it's completely doable. Like you can get really good by attending like someone's class, but yeah, you just got to look out for who has the actual best interest for you.
No, 100%. So I think we're just going to cover some of the red traps. So the red traps, we're going to cover some of the red flags so you guys don't, fall for them because they're really easy to fall to. Like, I remember when I was first trying to choose a trainer, the first permanent makeup thing I ever learned was microblading. And it was in 2014, and there wasn't as many trainers on the market as there is now, but I remember going through like websites and websites and websites, and some of them were just like really, really expensive. And I feel like that's also a red flag too, because they don't have to be. And I remember one class was like $6,000 and it was only 2 days, and they were cramming like lips and eyeliner and a bunch of different permanent makeup stuff just to make the class like worth the price when I really just wanted to learn microblading. So I ended up going with a lady that charged half the price and only teaching microblading. And then when I left the class, I was so glad that I ended up choosing just the specification that I wanted to get trained on, because 2 days is really not a lot of time. Like,
No.
you're only in the class for maximum of 8 hours, and the last 4 hours you're going to be way more tired than the beginning hours, and it's a lot of stuff to take in, and if you're covering more than like one subject, it just it's not good for you, and then you walk out feeling confused because you start to think, okay, the color theory for eyeliner is the same as the color theory for the lips, and
Yeah.
all the information just gets like,
Yeah. It's not effective. I don't think anyone can learn anything in 2 days if I'm being honest. So, um I feel like something to look out for is like an online course you could take before, like a month, 2 months at least worth of practice and knowledge before you can show up and get certified, because it's just not, I think it's not safe too, because you're gonna have people just messing other people up.
no, like 100%. I think a green flag to look out for would definitely be like online training before attending.
Yeah.
So I think we cover like at our the Beauty Institute, we cover so much of what you need to know, color theory, like needle knowledge, how to draw, mainly everything we cover in the workshop is also on the internet. And I think people undermine the online portion a lot when instructors undermine it, and I also feel like students sometimes undermine it too, where like the student will come in and they say this weird excuse like, I'm a hands-on learner.
Mm,
I learn better in real life, to convince themselves that this is why they never even
hmm.
like did the online portion.
And we heard that a lot.
Every single person that does not do the online stuff that attends the workshop says I do better in real life. Well, that doesn't like omit the fact that you literally need to go over this basic information before seeing us, because it
Yes.
makes your time way more valuable and our time valuable. Like, it's honestly discouraging for the instructors too, because there's so much expected of them to teach in 3 days when like the instructor does give pre-hand knowledge. And so like it really is a student's responsibility to look over that. But a red flag is if the instructor promises like 3 days and that's it, no pre-course, you're not going to learn much in 3 days. So
Hmm.
that's definitely.
I know. And it's yeah, since we've seen it a lot, I feel like we kind of have an idea of how they think the workshop will go. Like, I feel like they might think it's telepathically gonna enter their brain, and yeah, they're just gonna get certified and be on their merry way. But it's a lot of practice. I mean, I would even say like a good even year and a half, years worth of practice to get good.
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't even know what's on their mind, thinking like, I'm gonna come in a workshop, no prior knowledge, and then I think a little bit of it is like retail therapy too. Like, if I spend three thousand
Yeah.
dollars, then automatically I will have the skill.
Yeah. And yeah, they would probably think the same, like for an expensive type of work. Like I feel like the expensive workshops out there online kind of seem predatory upon this behavior, knowing that people will spend that much money
Yeah.
for a 3-day workshop because they know that the consumer uh is just going to take it anyway and run with it.
No, exactly. And I don't even like, okay, look, I think what we teach, like, I think nano brows, you can definitely have like a high six figures career. Like, you can literally easily make 300 a year, like just doing nano brows. And if you're good at it, like that's a career. So like a college would charge somebody $100,000 for that degree. So I don't even think it's like non-reasonable for us to charge 6K, but like do the pre-course, like do all this stuff. But I think a lot of people don't look at it that way. They look at it like, if I'm spending money, like if I'm gonna pay for the $6,000 class instead of the $3,000 class, um, like that they're gonna have more skill
Yes.
because they paid more.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know. And I feel like Well, what I was trying to say is that I feel like some companies know that about their customers and take advantage of that.
No,
And yeah.
100%. And then too, I think one of the things we talked about in the email was, and by the way, these are the Wednesday weekly emails. So if you want to receive these emails, I will, if you want to receive these emails, I will just go on our website and press subscribe, like where you can enter your email to get coupons, emails, and stuff, and then they will be sent to you every Wednesday. So look out for those. But also we discussed the flash trap. We call that's what we decided to call it. Sema came up with that. So tell them what we think the flash trap is.
So, you know, when your instructor is flexing on you, you know, when they keep posting about their new Lamborghinis and how they they want to sell you their lifestyle pretty much. Oh my god, like yeah, I did this doing eyebrows. I made $3 million just doing eyebrows. Take my course because I made $3 million,
Yeah,
and so will you if you take my course.
right.
It's not like that. I mean,
No.
it's, you, you just can't. It's just not.
It's like, here's the thing. Doing brows, yes, you can have a very successful life. And I feel like it's good that they're showing you that they were able to do it for themselves. But if that's what they're showing you and they're not showing you like their actual work, like I follow some people that that's all they do. But then when it comes down to like actual permanent makeup and seeing if they can actually like, to me, bottom line is the client.
Mhm,
Like this whole industry is thriving on the clients trusting us. So like if they can't service their clients, I mean obviously that they're successful because they're good, right? But I feel like I have seen very successful people that aren't good too.
mhm,
And I think that comes down to just a shift that ends up happening when you move from being an artist to being an e-com store.
mhm,
And that happened to us too. I started out as an artist for like 10 years and then we shifted into like online platform stuff, courses, products, just selling massive amounts of basically products to so many people around the world. Like that's what's going to make you $3 million.
mhm,
So you're basically telling them that you got famous off of brows, which you essentially did. That was your stepping stone based on the performance of your company.
mhm.
But that has nothing to do with can you actually tattoo, because a lot of times what happens is like these successful companies were built a long time ago. So what ends up happening is the instructor hasn't been in the field for a long time. And this isn't just a few cases. Like there's so many good people in the industry. But what to look out for is like, is the instructor still tattooing?
Mhm.
Because I feel like if they're going to teach you stuff that they learned, and I've seen this multiple times, like they're teaching stuff that was in like 2010. And 2010 was a long time ago. Like that was 13 years ago.
Yeah.
And I feel like you just, as a new student, and like a lot of the students are younger people, they can't be entering the industry learning like older techniques. Even microblading is pretty dated now.
Yeah.
Like it's so dated, but a lot of the instructors like built companies around this dated technique. And now
Mhm.
it's like, it's so hard to go back and like revise.
Yeah.
So, like maintaining an online store and a lifestyle and the $3 million thing based off of like things that come in and out, like it's difficult, but definitely like instructors should sell the student the most recent information. And if they can't, like have a team of instructors on board that are in the industry willing to train. So there's definitely like a difference between an instructor that does permanent makeup on the daily and an instructor that has a really great brand. And the one with the really great brand is going to be the more flashy one, is going to be the more money well off person, the person posting like, you can do this too, this and that. And that's great, but they have to have the skill too.
Mhm.
Like they have to have the last updated stuff. It, I don't even know. Like that's just what I think of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Um yeah, do you want to talk about the kits?
The which ones?
Okay, like the expensive stuff and the cheap stuff, like
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we could talk about that. So I think another red flag too is to look out for what kit is included in the course, because I feel like that could be a catch.
Hmm.
Um, like I've seen some kits that were not included in the course, and they were $4,000 for just the machine. And the machine is so funny because it's called like a digital permanent makeup machine, which
Hmm.
makes no sense. It literally makes no sense. It's a rotary machine that's has okay, so how they work, and I'm not gonna name any brand names here, but how they work is like you press eyeliner or you press like machine hair strokes or like you press lips and it will adjust the stroke length. Like that's it. Like you could have literally turned it down yourself. You don't have to pay an extra 2 grand for that. So, anyways, Jenna's here, but okay. She's so funny. But anyways, what were we saying?
um, the kits, how
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah,
four
yeah.
thousand dollar
S-
machine.
So basically, you press a button and it changes the stroke length for you. And I just feel like I just don't think it's necessary.
No, I think it's very like, I don't know. It's not it. I mean, you can get an actual good tattoo machine for like way like half.
Like 200 bucks is a good beginner machine.
Yeah, 200 is not bad.
Like
Yeah.
you can get like we provide the Y22 machine in our kits. It's a wireless permanent makeup machine. It's a 3.0 stroke length. You can take it all the way up to 7, turn it all the way down to 2. And I feel like ever since we started providing like the mask in our permanent makeup kits at a 3.0, and we started educating the clients about, hey, like a tattoo machine and a permanent makeup machine are not that different.
Mhm.
Because I think there was a whole market being created before. I think the beauty industry literally changed a lot. The Beauty Institute, I think it changed a lot about the way businesses do business.
Yeah.
There was a lot of predatory behavior. And I feel like the second we stood up for what's right, a lot of people started like going down that path too. Like, I feel like when our company started gaining momentum and like all this stuff, like people started to do what we were doing because it was obviously working because it had the students' best interests in the
Mhm.
forefront. And the student knows that. Like, when you're shopping online, you can tell which brand is like has your back and which doesn't.
Mhm.
And I think other brands like also got to see like what success could look like if they just were a little bit more honest. So
Yeah.
I feel like before we were seeing a lot of like Amazon, just like super thin pen style rotary machines that were just called like permanent makeup machines.
Mhm.
And they had like a very weak motor in them and they were very flimsy. Like, and they only took certain cartridges that basically are only bought on Amazon half the time. And they're not universal cartridges. And they tried to always create this divide
Mhm.
between the tattoo industry and the permanent makeup industry. And I feel like a lot of that happened because tattooing was always like the materials were always cheaper.
Mhm.
Like the nicest tattoo machine was like $1,200. And that's recent pricing. Like back 10 years ago, the nicest tattoo machine would have been $600. But 10 years ago, the nicest permanent makeup machine would have been like $5,000.
Mm.
So they tried to create this like divide based under like lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
And I feel like now that people know that a tattoo machine with the right settings can be used for permanent makeup, I mean, everybody's using like the Cheyenne, the Flux. Like,
Yeah.
nobody's buying the weird stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I'm so
No.
glad.
Yeah, I don't think it's, well, first of all, I don't think the quality will hold up
No,
2 3 years,
it's
4 years.
terrible for the client.
Yeah, I think like with the machine not being as powerful as like a regular tattoo machine, could probably cause
Oh,
scarring and
absolutely. And honestly, the student, like I've seen people, especially in the classes that teach ombre
Mhm.
and lips, I've seen a lot of like cheaper machines being included. And then I've seen the aftermath with what happens with the student using them. And they're basically, they're basically taught to do the pendulum motion.
Yeah.
But with like a super crappy machine, you're doing the pendulum motion back and forth. you're tearing that skin up.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's terrible. So I would definitely watch out for anything flimsy in your kit, but I would also watch out if your instructor told you that you need to buy an extra $4,000 product
Mhm.
in order to be successful, because that's absolutely not true.
Mhm.
It's just ridiculous. And I think that goes back to like the student thinking, if I spend $4,000, then
Yeah.
my tattoo will be
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah. No, it's true. Well, I think in general there's just a divide between permanent makeup and tattooing. Well, people think that like you would have to buy a PMU machine, which I don't even know what that means. Like, is it just a cheap tattoo machine?
Basically. So
Like, why would you do that to yourself?
no, and that's a really good point. Like, what is a PMU machine? And I think a PMU machine is just like a lower stroke length machine. You know who I think makes good, I would call PMU machines? I think Microbow makes good PMU purpose machine because they make tattoo machines.
Right.
And I think Artiste,
Yeah.
the newer brand that Cheyenne made, they have an H1. I think that's a good PMU machine. I would
Yeah.
call that a PMU machine because it's like a lower setting. It's for like, thinner
Yeah.
skin. But it's essentially a tattoo machine. Like
Yeah.
they didn't take out the essence of a tattoo machine and try to replace it with like click lips.
Yeah, right. And the technology in tattooing has come so far, and PMU wanting to be like this new thing and trying to like, I guess,
Play the same game.
yeah, but like start over. It's weird.
I think that in the past 5 years, as like a supplier, as a person who just like over the past two, I mean, the Beauty Institute isn't that old. It's not as old as like, a lot of other tattooing companies out
Mhm.
there. But I think since we've entered the field, we've entered right when things were flipping upside down. I mean,
Yeah.
wireless machine has just become a thing over the past 5 years, right? Micro realism just
Mhm.
become a thing, right? Because we can turn down the machines now to like like very low settings, and the things that were shunned like heavily, especially in traditional American tattooing, like getting so many details in a tiny spot. Like micro realism was never a thing.
Mhm.
And now that we're able to do these like really fine details and appeal to like a more feminine market too, I mean, it flipped the industry upside down. And when the truth reveals itself, because technology, like a lot of times, will bring out the truth unless it's AI, because that's fucking scary. But like, when tattoo machines and everything advanced, uh, the people that were lying to the consumer, they just couldn't lie anymore,
Mhm.
because there comes a point where you have to catch up with technology, you know?
It's true.
Yeah. So I would definitely watch out for weird gimmicks, like too cheap or too expensive.
Yeah.
As a beginner, seriously, just spend like less than $300. I mean, it's not the machine; it's you.
Mhm.
Like I can tattoo with the crappiest machine.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
I could literally even take the things on Amazon, and I've tried it before. It sucks, but you can tattoo with any machine, really.
Yeah.
Just be careful, because if you're a beginner, it will make your life hard. Like I remember when I purchased my first tattoo machine, it was a coil machine. It was $100. I got it off of Amazon. And my rationale as a beginner that has never tattooed, this was like in 2000, I think I picked up my first tattoo machine aside from a microblade was in 2017. And I was like, my rationale was I want to try it out to see if I like it. And then, I sounded like pretty Canadian when I said that. To see if I like it. And I didn't want to spend more than $100. But I got the machine. It was so terrible that I had to wait a whole year to feel like I can do this, because the machine made me think that there's no way I'm going to
Mhm.
get that. And then the guy at the tattoo store, I asked him for advice, and he goes, if you really want to do this, I had a guy just, and I don't know if he was trying to sell me, but he goes, I just had a guy come in like a few months ago and he spent 3K. He didn't know how to tattoo at all. And he just bought a bunch of good stuff, and he bought it all from his shop, and it wasn't just on one product. It was like inks and like setup
Mhm.
stuff and trays, all this stuff. And he told me he's doing pretty well now. I mean, he knew how to draw, and he had an apprenticeship, and he's doing really good now. He's like, don't be cheap on the stuff. And I like thought about that advice a year later, and I said, I really, really I think that was in 2016 because I started tattooing in the end of 2017. So I I thought about that, and then I bought my first real tattoo machine, which was the Cheyenne Hawk, and that was pretty nice. Do you want to pause?
No.
Oh, okay. What were
I
you
was just
trying to tell
saying like
me?
5 minutes.
Oh, until a
Yeah.
half hour?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we'll be over like it'll probably like be 45 minutes.
45?
Yeah.
We didn't discuss.
Sorry.
Um,
Is my phone still running?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
I wanted to say, to add to that, from a photography perspective, I remember my first camera being like a Canon Rebel, which, if you know anything about cameras, it's not the greatest camera. And, it was a little discouraging to be using a camera that doesn't have that much quality because you feel like, oh, well, my pictures are not that great. But yeah, as soon as I upgraded to an actual good camera, I was like, whoa, I have a lot more talent than I thought.
Yeah, it's so nice. But then like vice versa, like I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of cameras out there that are expensive. Like I've heard of really expensive cameras too, give you the Rebel quality.
Yeah.
So I feel like doing your research on any like tech piece, like a machine or
Yeah.
anything like that. Oh, by the way, speaking about machines, like my biggest pet peeve is when people call the machine a gun.
Oh, yeah.
Especially beginners. They're like,
Yeah.
"How do I adjust this gun? How do I do this gun?" And it's like, first of all, I mean, I could see people like saying that about a coil because it kind of like
Yeah.
has a thing. But now that we're all using like wireless pens, like it's a machine. It literally has like a
Yeah.
motor. It like it's a very engineered tool. I mean, so is a gun, but there's no trick. There's nothing gunny
Yeah,
about it.
no, it would be more proper to just call it like a tattoo pen
A
or
pen.
something. But like it doesn't even look like a gun. Like what part of it is gun? Like
And I think a part of that is like pretentious too.
yeah.
Like you want to be
Yeah.
badass because you're tattooing.
Yeah.
So you think it's proper to like, but we're trying to elevate the industry into being something like more, I would say, like clean, sophisticated, this and that, because the tattoo industry is changing. Tattooing is changing. Like everything about the industry is changing.
Hmm.
So I think it's a personal pet peeve. I know some people do it that are professional, but I found that more beginners will use that terminology than pros, because I
Yeah.
think pros don't have to front.
Yeah.
Like I think once you're a pro, you really don't have to feel like you're a badass because you
Yeah.
because you go draw on people. It is badass, but like at the same time, I don't feel like we need to fake that. I also think that beginners too, like as they're learning, will get a ton of tattoos.
Yeah.
Like we'll just get so many tattoos, and it's like trying to prove that you're a better artist.
Yeah.
But you can just go home and practice.
Yeah. Right.
It'll do better for you than trying to like be something you're not,
Yeah.
or be something that you're trying to be. Like
Yeah.
just get the tattoos, maybe make them like little badges for yourself. Like once I get this good, I'll get that tattoo. Or like it's great because you get to go watch other artists, which I think that part is awesome.
Yeah.
But I think just being a poser and calling your machine a gun and like getting, gangster tattooed on your like it's just weird, man.
Well, especially if that's just not who you actually are.
Yeah,
But if it
exactly.
if it is who you are, like that's totally cool. Do whatever you want. But if you don't match that energy,
Yeah, if you're not ready to go,
if you weren't doing it before you were tattooing, you probably shouldn't do it as soon as you start tattooing, Maybe you could wait a couple
yeah,
years.
wait a
Get a
year.
little hard,
Yeah.
Get a little street cred.
Yeah, you want the street cred first. I don't think I don't know, maybe tattoos give you like street cred with the clients because
Yeah.
a lot of people think that the more tattooed you are, the like I don't
Better.
have any tattoos.
Yeah.
And so people are like, wait, how are you tattoo artist? Like that's kind of weird. But I don't think that I need tattoos to be able to draw. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I think that it builds street cred with the clients, but it won't build street cred with the pros.
Mm.
Pros just want to look at your work.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
care what you look like.
It's true.
Like I've seen the jolliest men that look like Santa Claus just do the best tattoos, and they don't have a lot of tattoos. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it matters what you look like.
No, I don't think it matters.
All right, cool. I think we talked about a lot of stuff. This was pretty helpful.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to like tell the people?
No, this was a good conversation and I hope it works out for us this time.
Yeah, we tried to do an episode before this one and it really just didn't work out. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to be retrying this again. I think the only thing that I would say too is like after taking an online course or a person course with an instructor, um just like follow up, you know?
Yeah.
I've taught so many people that have like not reached out a year later and checked in with their progress.
Yeah.
I've taught a few people who have, and I always think it's like an incredible amount of persistence and
Dedication.
dedication. Yeah, because they'll be like, "Hey, I'm a year in. Like, how does my work look a year in?" I think that's a great question. I don't get asked that enough.
Yeah.
I think continued support on both ends, you know, because
Hmm.
there's red flags, green flags for instructors, but I mean, we think that there's red flags, green flags for students too.
Should we talk about that on the next podcast?
You guys can tell us if you want us to spill the tea on that.
Yeah.
Um, there definitely is red flags we look for in students, and we've actually like unenrolled people before.
Yeah.
We've told people they cannot attend before.
Or didn't certify them in the live workshop. Like we ended up not having to certify
Right.
them because they weren't ready or,
Yeah, like, skill is earned.
it is.
It's not given.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we could talk about that in the next podcast. And I think we covered a lot of stuff. This was pretty nice. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. And every Wednesday, me and Seema will have a little chat about a certain topic, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. It's a fun little project.
I think it's a fun project. It feels very wholesome.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed it.
Okay. Yeah.
All
Me
right.
too. Thank you guys for listening in, and we'll see.
Subscribe to the Wednesday Weekly.
Yeah. Subscribe to our email, and you will hear all about it every week. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.